This is an analysis and preview of the SOSP 2015 conference based on paper titles and abstracts currently available online, as well as information provided to the authors, such as number of submissions. Let's start with some statistics. This chart shows the submission statistics for SOSP in recent years. You can see the number of submissions in red, the number of accepted papers in green, and the acceptance ratio in blue. SOSP 2015 saw an 18% increase in the number of submissions over 2013. In fact, the number of submissions has been growing steadily over the years. The number of accepted papers has also been growing, but more slowly, and as a result, the acceptance ratio has been getting smaller. I should note that many authors that submit to SOSP are self-selective in the sense that they only submit their best papers to the conference. But if they didn't do that, the acceptance ratios would be even smaller. This slide shows topics that are common to SOSP. It doesn't show all the topics in all years, but it covers the main topics in the years that we're going to consider in this presentation. For each topic, here we show the number of papers and the percentage of papers in SOSP 2015. Let me add the caveat that I assigned just a single topic per paper using my best judgment of what was the paper's main topic. But in reality, many papers cover several topics, and sometimes there's a fuzzy line of which one is the main topic. We can see that there are a lot of papers in distributed systems, in fact, 9 of them. What's interesting this year is that many of these papers are about distributed transactions. In fact, 6 of them, some about adding transactions to previous systems. This shows that distributed transactions are becoming quite popular. There's also one experience paper on consistency, one paper about monitoring, and one paper about replication. The next most popular topic was bugs. And what's new this year is a lot of papers on applying formal methods to get systems that are correct by construction. There are 2 such papers, plus one paper on formalizing file system behavior, including POSIX semantics. There's also a paper on root cause diagnosis, a paper on finding file system bugs by cross-checking behavior, and a paper on testing the hypervisor. The next most popular topic was analytics, with 4 papers, one on parallelizing aggregations, one on dealing with memory pressure, one on processing of large graphs that don't fit in memory, and one on distributed graph mining. The next popular topics were storage and mobile. Under storage, there's a paper on better directory caching, a paper on improving storage maintenance tasks, and a paper on a better I/O scheduler. On mobile, the focus has been on energy and batteries. One paper shows how to trade off accuracy for energy efficiency. Another paper introduces a new power management state. And the last paper is about integrating many different types of battery in the same system. On networking, there was a paper on network function virtualization. On multicore, a paper extends the popular technique of read-copy updates. On security, there's a paper that improves on private messaging. And finally, under the other category, there's a paper about a new type of profiler and a paper on configuration management. This is an interesting mix of topics, but how does it compare with prior years? Here we can see the classification of papers for the last SOSP in 2013, as well as SOSP 10 years ago in 2005. Before I continue, let me add a disclaimer that I'm going to be drawing some conclusions from small numbers, and therefore some of my conclusions have limited statistical significance. But this is the data that we have. Here, the first notable thing is that distributed systems have been growing steadily, growing from 15 to 23 to 30% of the conference in 2015. Bugs has also grown in 2015, especially through the use of formal methods, as I mentioned before. Mobile has grown a little bit and is pretty solid in 2015. Analytics has pulled back a little bit from 6 to 4 papers, but remains quite popular. Multicore was very popular in 2013, but a little bit less so now. Networking is low, but one could argue that this is an artifact of my classification, where some of the networking papers get classified as distributed systems. What is striking to me is the decrease in the number of papers in some of the core areas in SOSP, namely OS and storage. Combining these topics, we have gone from 8 papers in 2005 to less than half of that in 2015, and this was quite surprising to me. Another area that decreased was security, which was very active in the past because of 9/11, but has since shrunk. To conclude, SOSP has a very interesting composition of topics in 2015, and I believe that a lot of it reflects the current trends in our community. We can observe the following. Distribution continues to grow. Formal methods have reached a point of practicality. OS and storage are now mature, though I expect that storage will grow in the coming years due to the new non-volatile technologies and byte addressable memory. Bugs remain a challenge, and security has lost a little bit of interest, but privacy is gaining traction. Thanks for listening, and this concludes the presentation.